This is Stephen Platinum, your friend in wrestling, with Platinum versus uh, Raw. Sorry, I'm just making sure my headset mic is working, and apparently it is. So I will, I will quit talking about it and get to it. I wanted to do this right away as soon as I could after the show, so I could really give my fresh takes. Here are my two overriding thoughts about the show. One, there was some really good ring work. I thought the Keith Lee main event with Drew McIntyre was really fantastic, and I thought the open was really great. I People don't talk about, people who don't know any better because they're relatively young or they've only watched wrestling a relatively short amount of time would say New Day is one of the greatest tag teams. But people who have been watching longer tend to dismiss them. Well, you can't fucking dismiss them. Kofi Kingston and Xavier Woods, as a team in particular, are just dynamite. I found myself just my jaw hanging open at how smooth they were. There is no comparing them and, let's say, the Street Profits. There is no comparison there. The New Day are seriously fan fucking tastic. I would put up the work that they do against just about anybody. The only knock against them is they're wrestling in an era and for a company where they're not going to wrestle long matches by and large. But I guarantee you, you put those guys in a 25, 30-minute match against just about anybody, they're going to be fucking great. The smoothness, the comfort that they have with one another as a team and working with the people that they work with, it really is remarkable. The other thing is, boy, I don't really led things like Legend Nights and the Undertaker Goodbye where they had all of those people in the ring, 11 or 14 of them or whatever the fuck. Um it is a microcosm for the WWE's problem in general, which is they have everybody and then don't know what to do with hardly any of them. And watching all of those quote unquote legends, some of them it's a stretch, but that's a conversation, different conversation. But just sitting there in chairs watching the match, um, really sort of highlighted they have no idea what to do with all these fucking guys. They have no idea. And, no matter how many dumb little skits they would have or how many people that they had just sort of standing around looking at stuff, and all of the legends were game. They were all down to do whatever silly fucking thing they had to do. Whether they were the boogeyman or, you know, guys whooping it up or cheering or like the Drew McIntyre promo with Hogan was pretty great. But overall, it just felt really wasted. The Ric Flair thing at ringside, where he's grabbing the wrong person's foot, but there's no indication on why he would have grabbed the wrong person's foot. I, it's fucking terrible, man. And it's not because people weren't game. Again, Tori Wilson was game for whatever you wanted it to do, but the moments of poignancy were minimal, and the moments of merely using whatever sheen or rub that you could get off of these legends for different levels of comedy, that's all they could fucking think of. There was no poignancy, there was no beauty, there was no art. It was just slapsticky bullshit or look how great it is. There was no earnestness about any of it. And quite frankly, I don't know even if they tried to do it, if they could have done it. I think we're so far away from it and so far gone. You don't have any of the female legends. You don't have Molly Holly talking to the fucking women when they so clearly admire her. But you don't have that interaction. You don't have Tori Wilson talking to the blonde bombshells they've got right now and having some kind of interaction there. They don't give a fuck about the women. Clearly they don't give a fuck. And there's something that's kind of distressing about that. And you know, when you have different legends, and you could just have these, I mean, the matches for the most part, who gives a fuck, right? Like, this is your chance to do something special and different. Um, I mean, Jeff Hardy and Randy Orton put on a good match as well, but at the end of the day, who cares, right? Randy Orton's just there to fuck up Mark Henry's good day, and and that's about it. And the Miz and Morrison thing, um, the interaction in the beginning. I mean, we'll just go through this shit. I mean, they talk about stuff, right? And we got Tom Phillips there, and we got Samoa Joe and Byron Saxton, which is wonderful. But there's no clips. They just assume everything. They just assume, oh, we have this older fan base that knows who all these people are, and so that's just it. That's it, right? There's nothing done that's even the slightest bit clever or even a mildly inside baseball and interesting. You've got Melina and you got John Morrison there, and you don't have some sort of interaction. I mean, I guess if you don't give a fuck, you don't give a fuck, right? Um, Teddy Long hits the stage as the New Day are talking to Miz and Morrison. Does this bit about you got to fight the Undertaker? No, you don't. We don't do that anymore. Adam Pearce definitely having fun out there with Teddy Long. Um, and then Teddy Long has to sit there and do his little dance. Um, and then we go to commercial. We come back and we have the match. And like I said, the match itself is good, especially the New Day. I mean, they just look great. Um, and then Miz and Morrison are sitting up against the barrier, looking disappointed. Important to note that Woods wins with the Shining Wizard. Because this is another little problem they have in the show. I'll let you know what that is in a bit. So, last week's Raw ended with Randy Orton holding a match over Alexa Bliss, who's covered in gasoline. And they don't show you what happened. They have a cliffhanger where they don't show you what happened afterwards. What the fuck? Is this not pro wrestling? Like, why are we just talking about stuff? So the payoff is there's no payoff, which is, again, WWE in a nutshell, right? The payoff is there's no payoff. We go to commercial. So we've had 2 commercial breaks and 1 match. Now we come back. Angel Garza won the 24/7 title from R-Truth during the TikTok live stream. Oh boy. Um, and then we see some legends. We see Mickey James. We see Sergeant Slaughter. Um, Sergeant Slaughter calls him a maggot. He just takes it. Okay. AJ Styles against Elias. The match is fine. It's just AJ wins. Okay. Riker runs in, but almost blocks it and shatters the guitar. Yay. Charlotte Flair. She's going to be in the 30-woman Royal Rumble match. Charlotte Flair and Asuka against Peyton Royce and Lacey Evans. Long story short, Flair fucks up, and so Royce takes advantage with a crucifix pin. The Shining Wizard and the crucifix pin show up multiple times. What the fuck, WWE? Every match seemed to touch on one or the other for finishes. I mean, Sheamus is back there with Drew McIntyre, whatever the fuck. The whole point is Hogan comes out and cuts the promo with McIntyre, which is a nice moment. Commercial, come back. Lashley against Riddle. Riddle wins. Riddle wins off of this weird finish where he's locked in the full Nelson, which nobody can escape from. He taps out, but the referee has to duck. It was a clever finish. If I mean, for what they were trying to do, it was a clever finish. Don't get me wrong, and well executed. Riddle taps out, but the referee is ducked out of the way, so he doesn't see the tap out, and immediately Lashley lets him go immediately. Even though the referee hasn't called for the bell and he's a heel that's kept this hold on way too long every single time he's won with it, but now he just lets it go instantly, and then Riddle rolls him up. The roll up, the dreaded roll up. Ricochet's back there with Mark Henry, and then Randy Orton walks up and taunts Henry. And I thought, oh, they're gonna do this great thing where Ricochet is gonna like back up Mark Henry. Nope, nothing. No interaction. Nobody putting anybody over or even getting into a program with somebody completely unexpected in a completely unexpected poignant way. That was a perfect chance for Ricochet to come and go like, you're not going to, this man is a legend, you're not going to do this. And Randy Orton goes, oh, you're going to stand up to me? And he's like, yeah, I am. I mean, a simple thing like that, and then they have a match for next week, and more importantly, they have a moment that matters, and they're not leaving Mark Henry there looking stupid and cowardly. Mandy Rose against Shayna Baszler. Brooke avoids the choke out and gets a pin out of nowhere. Dana Brooke does, anyway. With a, crucifix. Flair's back with Molly Holly and Shyster, but they immediately walk off because Randy Orton's there. Randy Orton, by the way, interacted with multiple guys that he demolished, um, and they don't seem to have some kind of problem with him. And nobody seems to be defending any of these legends. It's fucking terrible. Randy Orton, Jeff Hardy. Good match. Orton wins in a very clever way against Hardy. Though there was this weird moment where he went for a twist of fate and then Orton turned it into a neck breaker, into him taking a neck breaker. It was odd. It was odd. Lucha Party with Melina. They do the Lucha chant. Oh, it's a fucking embarrassment. Cedric Alexander and Shelton Benjamin against Lince Dorado and Grand Metalik. The fucking Lucha House Party win this. So I guess it wasn't for the tag titles. The fuck. And then, MVP has to make shit out of fucking. He has to make something out of this shit. It's painful. Um, Angel Garza's there with Nikki Cross and Tori Wilson. So it's nice to see interaction with Nikki Cross and Tori Wilson, but we get nothing of significance. They're just standing next to each other. And then she's a Kylie Jenner, and Ariana Grande is watching Raw. Cardi would love to have the rose. He goes back there and it's the boogeyman. He's scared. R-Truth rolls him up, wins the 24/7 title back. Ron Simmons walks up, takes the longest pregnant pause before he does damn. And that pregnant pause, you know how when somebody does something that wastes clock in a football game and they're like, I hope that doesn't cost them at the end. Strangely, this cost them at the end. Now we have Keith Lee against Drew McIntyre. Really good match. It's a foregone conclusion, though. Drew McIntyre wins. And then out comes Goldberg. What the fuck? Cuts a very haphazard, weird fucking promo about stuff about how Drew is very disrespectful. None of it made fucking sense. But the long and short of it is he wants a title shot. And then Drew goes on to say it's going to be like fighting his own dad. Goldberg shoves Drew to the mat, and as soon as he touches the mat, it goes abruptly off of the air. Boy, I bet they wish they had those few seconds back from Ron Simmons taking 10 seconds to say damn. Um, fucking Jesus. Raw's and fucking, they're bleeding. If you don't recognize that Raw's in trouble, I don't know what to tell you. Yeah.